ho, ho. It's Santa here. A very Merry Christmas and the happiest New Year. Ho, ho, ho.
It's Christmas Eve, and that was the single most decrepit Santa Claus I've ever heard in all my life. And he just ended up on episode 164 of the UFO Report. Welcome, I'm your host, Manny Moonraker. Nice to see you. It's almost the end of the year. Like I said last week, I was going to show up one more time. Well, I was going to try to make it this week. And you guys know the holidays. All of you guys are having fun during the holidays. No fucks given. You're not probably... Podcasting is the last thing you're going to listen to today. And tomorrow, and probably until 2019, and then it's like, I need to catch up. I need to catch up on my podcast shows. I need to listen to Man Moonraker, see what the hell he's up to. First thing I want to say is this. I got a bit of a cold, I think. Something's brewing. Something's brewing from deep within. But we got two articles to go over today. One of them is going to be really short because it's BS. Pretty much total BS. Nothing to really talk about, just a lot of nonsense. But before we get into that, there's two things. One, don't forget to follow me on everything social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Number two, I still continue to get messages by the puppets. The puppets are those people that love Nick Pope. You puppets are driving me insane. Listen, let me just clear this up one last time. Because unless the puppet and Nick Pope actually offer UFO Buster Radio some real information, there's no reason to talk about Nick Pope anymore. Other than maybe when the Express UK feels like running another story where he is a famed MOD ex-retired researcher. And that is this. Nick Pope has never offered anyone anything after all those years in the MOD. Zero. Nick Pope, if you look at every single damn interview he ever does, even in his writing, he will never, ever come right out and say that few percentage of UFO sightings that are not resolved in some way with some kind of evidence, that those are from 4.24. Never happened. Even last year, I was looking at interviews he did after ATIP. And he'll dance around the subject. He'll tell you, well, we knew, or they knew, or the UK knew that these were not aircraft from another country because we kind of have a good idea what everybody else has. And, that wasn't it. Mind you, Nick Pope, I would like to bring you back to the SR-71 Blackbird, where that was called by many people as a UFO, and apparently the UK didn't know the US had an SR-71 at one point. That's neither here nor there. But as far as this topic goes, here's the deal. If you look at his interviews, even if he says 5% or 3% of these unsolved UFOs, if we were to come right out and ask him, and this happened a lot of times during the ATIP situation last year, whenever he was on CNN talking to people, he would never straight out come out and say, yes, this small percentage, or yes, what you're seeing on a screen is not something of this world. There's nothing anyone has ever described in production today that could do that. Zero. Never. Never did it. Not once. Still hasn't done it. But what's weird is he'll go and talk about secret space programs. He will speak on ATIP. He will speak on To the Stars Academy stuff, but he never comes out and says anything. And my problem is this. This is the part of ufology I'm talking about. This is the part of ufology where people like him who spend and spin their experience in researching things for the government and come out and say, I'm going to join the circuit. I'm going to make some money, some retirement money, such a ching bling, off of my experience, which really was nothing. And here's the second theory about Nick Pope, which is, you guys really have to think about it. You puppets have to think about this. And that is it possible that out of all the thousands and thousands of documents that the MOD had, that they made sure that he received not a single one that had any kind of proof or was worth anything when it comes to that topic of creatures from 4.2 far being involved in the UFO phenomena? It's not far-fetched, folks. I mean, it is what it is. All that time, he saw nothing really credible other than jumping on the Rendlesham Forest story, and then that's it. What else does he have? Zero, zilch, nada. But he's like a lot of other people that at one time I called the gods of ufology, where they offer zero, absolutely nothing to the conversation, but they're out there on the circuit, doing things. Could Nick Pope actually go up to Travis Walton and say, Travis, you're 100% right. You got abducted by an alien. Of that 6% that I say are unresolved, that's you, man. Don't think he would do that. I really don't. And then think about this. He's been trained by the MOD to be more than just a skeptic. And if you look at his interviews, take some time today, puppets. Take some time. Go out there, look at his interviews, and see how he skirts around the issue. No, he's not a Tsoukalos. He's not out there saying it was aliens. He's not Tsoukalos, not by a stretch of the imagination. Maybe he's afraid of the memes that'll come out of it. But he doesn't, and he will not. That's all I got to say about Nick Pope for the puppets. You guys keep hating and say that he believes. Yeah, he believes there's UFOs. Which fucker listening to ufology type of podcast does not? But the majority believe that the reason why we have this ufology phenomena is because there's something from out there that's driving, even if it is a small percentage, there's something from out there driving those UFOs. Let's get into the news. This one really got me. It got me going because I was like, shit, I can't believe I got caught on the clickbait. I got caught on the clickbait, and it is terrible. As much as I warned people about it, I fell into it because I thought this was a scientific paper. And it's running through the media like wildfire. The title for this one is, Are Saturn's Rings Dying? I mean, that's up there with Pluto becoming a dwarf planet. It's amazing. It's astronomical. It is something that drives the imagination bananas. What if Saturn has 0 rings? Well, of course, I thought, I gotta read this. This is fantastic. Fuck the people who put this together, because they clickbaited me in the worst way. So the article is going crazy. It's going through all kinds of publications. But it turns out that yes, apparently gravity, the planet's gravity is pulling in the rings of Saturn, basically. Saturn is sucking it up like a kid at a cake bar. But here's what's going on. It's due to gravity. So basically, probably, and let me read it as it says in this article, as soon as 100 million years from now. I'm going to let you take that in. It's 100 million years. What in the world prompted someone to report that like it was real news right now? No one gives a damn about 100 years from now. We're going to be dead by then. All of us will be dead. Our families in the future will be dead. There won't even probably be an Earth in 100 million years from now, so who gives a fuck? But that's what happens. This is the kind of news we get surrounded by. 100 million years from now, the Saturn's rings will be gone. Gone. Finito. But there'll be no one here to witness it, pretty much. We'll all be dead in the ground or burned up from nuclear fallout. Oh, by the way, now that I gave that great message about mankind dying, Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you for listening today. I know you got better things to do if you listen on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. We're going to end the podcast with another Christmas song just for you guys that are listening. But no fucks given. I don't give a fuck about Saturn, and neither should you. It's not like we can make it there anyway, so yeah, who cares? Article number 2 is quite fascinating because it comes from someone who used to be part of the Apollo missions. That's right. This is the article title. And you know, the minute that I saw this, I had to do this article because in a lot of ways, this guy is 100% right. Sending astronauts to Mars would be stupid, astronaut says. I mean, he just came right out and said it. And it's funny that this is coming from the BBC. The BBC is running this article. They're talking about Anders. Now, Anders was part of the December 1968 Apollo mission, and his crewmates were Frank Borman and Jim Lovell. And they were part of, they were sitting on their butts, basically on top of a Saturn V, and they completed 10 orbits around the moon. This was Apollo 8, and it was a total of 20 hours around the moon before they came back to Earth. Right now, he's 85 years old. And he says he supports, full-heartedly, he supports the fact that we're doing unmanned programs like the rovers, basically, because they're cheaper. Now, at 85, I don't see why he gives a fuck about anybody else's money. But who cares, right? He says that going to Mars and putting their support behind an expensive mission like that by putting humans to Mars, it's a bunch of bullshit, and NASA's going to fuck it up. I'm just giving you a synopsis. And he says, here's the quote, "What's the imperative? What's pushing us to go to Mars?" He said, adding, "I don't think the public is that interested." Are you serious? Come on. Everybody wants to go. There's no one that knows about Elon Musk that does not want to see him get on that one-way ticket. That was a little morbid before Christmas, but that's what it is. We do want to see that. We do want to see that. And he says, and the worst bit about this is that he pretty much takes NASA and throws them in front of the bus because he says that NASA can barely lead a moon mission, and there's no way that they can prepare anyone to get to Mars at all. And he says this is coming off of the fact that they recently announced that there's going to be a commercial and international partners that are going to get together with NASA in order to get a presence on the moon and then to Mars. His response to this was this: NASA couldn't get to the moon today. Hashtag no fucks given, NASA. This is one of your previous employees. And he says the space station is only there because you had a shuttle, and vice versa. NASA really mismanaged the manned program since the late lunar landings. Listen, he really does not care about what the hell NASA's doing. Like, he really doesn't. He has no faith in NASA. And the question is, should we? Should we have faith in NASA being able to accomplish any of that at all? Listen, you know I say it all the time. That NASA, it's a sad story, man. And it really looks like basically what's going to happen is a private enterprise is going to take over the entire space program. And NASA basically is going to be just hitching a hike. That's all they're going to do. So Bill Anders, he might be right. This is what's happening. NASA's going to epic fail this. And without people like Elon Musk, Deuce Bigalow, the space gigolo, and all the other rich guys out there that are making their plans to get to the moon, Soros and all these guys, there is no way NASA can do it on its own. In a lot of ways, NASA is just way behind everybody. And that's why we haven't really landed anywhere else, because they're afraid. They're too careful. They don't take chances the way they should. So those are the two articles for today. And you know what? I applaud this guy. You know, there comes a time where you just got to put your head out, stick your head out, take it out of your ass and just say something. Like he's saying NASA could not land the moon today if they were all naked and playing hopscotch with each other. That's just a figure of speech because they each have a moon, but they wouldn't be able to land on each other's moon. There's no way they're going to reach. They went in orbit. This is UFO Buster Radio. I'm checking out. I gotta get something in my throat because it's starting to not feel so good. I wish you guys a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, but try to be back on Thursday. I really don't see any reason why not. But you popettes, stop harassing the Moonraker and really look at who you follow when it comes to this ufology gods. I'm checking out. Happy Holidays. Sayonara.